There has been huge scaremongering and manipulation of the markets. And today I want to put into perspective what is happening and how you can benefit from it or simply ignore and continue what you're doing. My name is Karen Newton, and I'm going to share with you my take on what is happening in the markets for the past week. Just a week ago, the Bank of England increased interest rates again. And the intention of the Bank of England is to put interest rates up every month until they get on top of inflation. Now, the biggest problem with inflation is it's currently running, official figures put it around 8.5%. It's more likely 10% or more. Bank of England acknowledged that it is likely to hit 10% by the end of this year. But when it comes to controlling inflation, one of the biggest tools that the bank has to enable it to control inflation is money supply. And when there is less money supply in the markets, people tend to spend less. And as a consequence of that, prices actually come down. Now, at the moment, there is a huge influence going on in the market, of which we have literally no control over. So you have no control over the electricity prices, you have no control over gas prices, you have no control over fuel prices. And basically the only thing that most people can do is find another way of making money. Now, before I get into that, the impact of the Bank of England putting interest rates up and announcing that it intends to continue putting interest rates up is that it wants to withdraw the money supply from the markets, reduce the amount of spending, that the spending power we have in our pockets, if you like. The whole aim of this is that if we are spending less, those prices will have to drop. Short term, it is pretty tight on the purse strings. There's a huge amount of stress on people. And a lot of people do have to make the decision between what they can spend on and what they can't spend on. But when you have no control over what is happening with prices in the marketplace, what you do have control over is the amount of money that you make. And for many people, the building of side hustles or small businesses that can run automatically in the background once you get them set up is a way of boosting the income to support a family during these difficult times. Now, the economics of what is happening at the moment, while we are struggling with a lack of buying power and having to make decisions about what we can spend on and what we can't spend on, the reality is that as the country is moving into recession, it is the better of two evils. I don't really like using the word evil, but one of the alternatives is stagflation. And stagflation is an absolute nightmare for any economy. And so one of the comments that the Bank of England made last week was that it was prepared to put the country into recession. Now, that it was a positive, because for the first time it meant that the Bank of England were prepared to take the necessary action to control what is happening in the markets. Now, when we have stagflation, what stagflation means is that whatever tools the Bank of England, the central banks, whatever country you're in, whatever tool that central bank is using, it will increase unemployment, it increases inflation. That is the problem with stagflation. And no country wants to get into that situation. By putting a country into recession, then it has a lot more control. And yes, things will be a bit tight for a while. But the thing is, getting that inflation under control is one of the major things to ensuring that we have businesses out there, and businesses are the absolute key to ensuring unemployment and ensuring that you have a job and money in your pocket. So the announcement, while it was blown up and all out of proportion by the newspapers, after all, that is their job. Bad news is what they sell. It was actually a positive step by the Bank of England to say they would be prepared to put the countries into recession. As I said, nobody likes recession, but it is a positive step to stop stagflation. Now, the other thing I want to address is the what happened in the crypto markets. Now, that has had an absolutely phenomenal effect on average people who have life savings in the crypto markets. And for those who probably haven't seen or haven't heard, don't follow the crypto market, basically what happened is a run was triggered on the Terra Luna ecosystem. Now, what that did is it absolutely crashed the Luna ecosystem. Luna is trading round about, there's about 5 noughts in front of the value of it. I can't even begin to say how much it has dropped in value. And by collapsing that ecosystem, it was pegged to a what's called a UST, which is a virtual dollar. And so people who were invested in Luna and in UST saw a collapse in the value of the money that they had. Some people have lost billions, some people have lost millions. Some have totally lost their life savings. Not only did this Terra Luna ecosystem collapse, but in an attempt to prop it up and to keep it afloat, billions have literally been wiped off the crypto markets. Now there's rumors floating around as to who actually triggered this. Nothing has been confirmed at this stage, but it is seen very much as a situation similar to what George Soros did in the 1990s when he created a run on the sterling and collapsed the sterling economy for the UK, which forced the UK to move out of the ERM, which was a euro protection mechanism for currency. So what we've seen is complete collapse of this Terra Luna ecosystem, which is very much manipulated within the market. Now, this is an unfolding story. It's going to be interesting to see what is happening over in the coming days with the crypto market. But crypto, as a result, the whole market has collapsed. Collapse is probably a strong word to use when you're looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum, because they are high value currencies which have had a huge drop in value. but they're still trading at pre-December 2020 prices. Okay, so the market is not as bad as it would appear to be. It is solely the lunar ecosystem which is suffering at the moment. Whether there are opportunities within that, we will need to wait and see. Now, the other thing I want to address is what is happening with the bullion markets. And again, we have this huge manipulation which is going on in the markets. And to be honest, I expect the price of gold and silver to continue going down. Now, again, we talk about the big players in the market, the whales who are in the market, and how they are issuing warnings. Now, one of the major things in the economy is fiat currency. That's your notes and your coins that you have in your pockets. They need to be at a certain value. When cryptocurrency is really high, when the bullion markets are really high, then the value of those currencies goes down. And with the amount of debt and expenditure that has been pumped into the economies through quantitative easing, through furlough schemes, through everything that was done to support the economies during the lockdowns, we saw this boom in the crypto market. We've seen it in the precious metals markets and the commodities markets. The lower those markets are in value, the better for the currency and the more chance that the currency has of stabilizing and being able to control inflation. So when you understand a lot of the manipulation that is happening within the markets, and you understand why those manipulations are happening in the market, then it is easier to stay calm because it's trying to protect the currency that is in your pocket at the moment. And by far the easiest thing that anyone can do to look after themselves is have a side business, a side hustle. And these do not need to be huge businesses. Right? You don't need to give up your job to create a business. They are things that can simply be run on the side and they support your job or other income that you have coming in. So there are opportunities at the moment in the business world, in the side hustle market, to generate extra income to support what is happening in the economy. It is also a good opportunity to get some financial education so that you can understand what is happening in the markets and not panic about this current situation. We are in unknown circumstances for many of our politicians, our leaders in the world, our people who are controlling the markets, our jobs. Everything is an unknown quantity. We haven't had this in history before for this generation. Yes, it has happened in history. And for people who do study history, there is a lot they can learn from it. But take consolation, if you like, that what is happening in the markets at the moment is there to help support the currency that you have in your pocket. And it might not feel like it because things are really tight, but the manipulation, what is going on in the market, is there to support your currency and to make sure the bottom does not fall out of that currency market. So all I can say is stay calm with what is happening out there at the moment. By all means, watch the markets, and understand the interpretation. Look past the bad news headlines, stay calm, and if you have the opportunity, start thinking about those small businesses that could support you. Everything happens for a reason. Right? Look for the good side of it. And the good side is what is happening in the markets at the moment is to try and support the currency that you have in your pocket.